Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone's having a brilliant day. Now in this video I'm going to be potting on my Aloe black gem, also known as Alworthia black gem. And I've got two of these plants. I've got another one in the polytunnel, and this one is one that I got a couple of months ago. That is, as you can see, pretty much desperate for a repot, very top heavy. And I've got the next size pot up here, and I've made the soil mix. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to talk a little bit about this plant, the Aloe black gem. Now, this is a hybrid aloe between Aloe speciosa and Alworthia cymbiformis, which is why it's often known as Alworthia black gem, as well as Aloe black gem. It's a clumping plant that forms many offsets. As you can see here, lots of offsets coming. There's another little one down there. And in bright sunshine, it goes a lovely dark reddy colour, sort of a dark browny reddy colour. And that's why it's called the black gem, because of its colour. This one is a lot more greener because it's, as I say, I only got it a couple of months ago. And the one I've got in the polytunnel is much darker in colour because it gets much more direct light in the polytunnel. This one should go nice and dark as now it's spring, well, almost springtime. And it should take on a darker colour when it's back into the polytunnel again. So here is a bit about the soil mix. Now before I go any further, I have made a few videos on caring for aloes. So if you want to know how to care for aloe plants, then do check out a video I have made on how to care for and grow aloe. Links will be up above. And I'll also put the links down below in the video description as well. And I've also made a video on how to prune the dead leaves from aloes, because aloes, as they grow, they sometimes drop their bottom leaves sort of go a little bit brown and crispy. So I've made a video on how to prune them as well. So do check that video out. Links will also be up above and down below in the video description. And also I've made a video on how to grow aloe from seed. So if you ever get any aloe plant seeds and you want to know how to grow them from seed, do check that video out also. Links also up above and down below. So that's all out the way. So lots of care tips on how to care for and grow aloe. Do check them videos out. Now the soil mix here, I've made a mix of a very well draining soil, which is very important for aloes, as it is for all succulents. And I've used a mix of a loam base soil, LOAM. In this case, I'm using a John Innes mix number 2, and I've used it at 50%. And I've mixed 10% sharp horticultural sand, 20% perlite, and about 10% pumice, and also 10% lava rock. So it's very well draining. So when this is potted up and I start watering again, it's going to dry out pretty quickly in between waterings. And also it's free draining, which is very important for succulent plants. I've got a bit of pumice there. I'm going to top dress when I've repotted it. But you can use any well draining cactus and succulent mix that you like to use, as long as it dries out quick and also it's free, very well draining as well. So here's the lovely plant. So enough of that out of the way, and now I'm going to show you the repotting. So I put a bit of soil in the bottom of the pot. You also want to make sure you use a clean pot. And then when it comes to repotting, I've done many repotting videos here. I just want to say that here you can clearly see they've used one of them little plugs that when they pot on from the nurseries, they usually have them in these tiny little sort of plugs, as they call them, the little type of material. And then they just pot them up into soil. The reason why I'm repotting this as well, it does need a bigger pot, but also the fact that I don't like the soil it's in particularly. It's not too bad. It feels like there's a bit of pumice and perlite in there. Quite well draining, but I like to put my own soil on as well. As I say, I haven't repotted this since I got it. So there you go, come out very easy there. And what I like to do as well is loosen up the roots if I can. I know I'm making a mess, guys, but this is an old table, so it doesn't matter, my gardening table. And loosen it up. And if you have, with aloes, and it's the same with gasterias as well, and Alworthias and the like, if the roots are very dried up, or you can clearly see they're rotting or anything like that, I like to give them a good prune. And I have made a special video also on how to repot aloes, gasterias, Alworthias, because they're all sort of similar with their sort of very fleshy tuberous roots. And I make the video where I prune the roots in there should you have to do that. And in this case, if you have to prune the roots, I'd recommend leaving the plant unpotted for a day or two, just to allow any cut roots to callus over before potting up again. But I explained that in that video, so do check that video out also if you're interested. Links also up above and in the video description. But as you can see here, there's no particularly dead roots. The roots are a little bit dry, but this has not been watered since I got it. When I got this plant, I got it from a supermarket called Lidl's. They have great plants for bargains there. And I didn't really want to repot it because it was the middle of winter, and now it's more or less spring, nearly spring. It'd be fine to do this now. And once I've potted it up, I'm going to leave it dry for a week or two before I start to water. I haven't watered any of my aloes in the polytunnel yet. They've all been dry over the winter. So obviously I'm repotting a few of them to get them to settle into their pot for a few days before I introduce water again. Now, I've removed as much as the old soil. Not too bad. It looks like a bit of coconut coir and perlite, and looks like possibly pumice as well. I'm not quite sure, but it's not too bad soil, but I like to use my own. And the roots are pretty good. Now I just want to get rid of this little thing here, as they use them as call little plugs, as they call it when they're in the nurseries. So just going to cut away. Now this plant, if I didn't cut this away, they're usually out. This is very almost like a tissue paper, so the plant would just carry on growing without that. So it's not necessarily you have to remove it, but I want to. Here. So there's nothing that stops the roots from growing. And as you can see, aloe pups are very easy to come away when you're repotting. That one's come away there. So carefully remove that there. That can go. I'll put that into the same pot, but the good thing is with aloes, when you remove the pups, you can always give them as gifts to people, to other plant growers as well. So I'll probably pop that up into the same pot. I'll leave this one on there because it's still young. This one as well. I actually like it when they actually form lots of clumps. I think it looks great. And this one is a particularly clumpy plant, this variety here, the Alworthia Black Gem. There we go. Great roots. Lovely, another little tiny pup coming up there. So what I want to do here, as I mentioned, I'll just move so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. Take that away. Removed a lot of the old soil. I don't want to take too much of this away because could be a bit too fragile, a bit too close to the aloe here. And then I'm going to gently put that into here. May need a bit more soil in there. I didn't really know until I repotted it how deep the roots were going. So there, and then gently place that in there. I love these square pots. Hard to find, but when you do, they're great. Oops. Let's move the stand a little bit more so I'm not kicking it. And I want to put this all down the sides. So good to get repotting again, guys. I'm so happy that spring is practically here now. We've had not bad weather actually for this time of year. We had a very cold spell not too long ago, but now it's sort of getting a little bit warmer again now, a bit of sun. Now what I like to do then is tap the pot so the soil comes down to the bottom as well. You want to make sure that the soil goes all around the sides, or down the sides I should say. And then, as I mentioned, I'm not going to water this now for about a week or two, and then I'm going to introduce water to all of my aloes as well, because a lot of them are shrivelling in the polytunnel. They've been very dry because I haven't watered them at all over the winter months. As I say, the reason why I do that is because they are outdoors in a polytunnel, which is kept quite cool. If they were indoors, I probably would have given a bit of water in the winter, because aloes are often, I mean, I have a lot of mine flower in the summer as well for me, and the spring and even the autumn, but they're often winter flowers. So if you have them in a bit more of a warmer environment, you'll often get a lot more blooms if you can water them during the winter. But because I've got them in the polytunnel, I have to keep them dry, because it's just too risky to water them when it's cold temperatures, because they're very prone to rotting. That's it. Then I want to just gently press down the sides. In fact, what I'm going to use here is this blunt end of this little spoon here to make sure that the soil is all down the sides here. You don't want to press too hard. You don't want to damage any roots, and you also want to make sure that the soil is sort of loose so the roots can breathe, but the plant's firm enough in its pot so it's not going to fall out, obviously. And as I say, I've got that little tiny pup as well, so I could even pop that up in its own little pot, which I think I will do actually, because it's nice to give it its own little pot. So I'm going to show you that in the video too. That's this little pup here I mentioned, to give it its own little baby pot. I just want to make sure, obviously you can see things like there's a lot of soil there, so I use one of these little brushes just to brush any of the soil that's got caught on the leaves into the pot, because soil left hanging around in between the little rosettes on aloes, when you go to water, sometimes they can cause the leaves to rot back, so you don't want that. So make sure that, and then this is all done now, and I'm going to pot up its little baby. Now to pot the little baby plantlet here, little baby aloe. So as you can see, it's got a great root system already. So I've got the little pot to make sure that root is in contact with the soil there. And now I'm going to very gently put a bit of soil into the pot. Should I tap around? A bit more soil. Then gently press. That's it. I'm going to top dress both of these and label them. Now top dressing with a little bit of pumice here, and just to finish them off. That one, and then pumice on this one as well. There we go, that's both of them top dressed and with the labels on Alworthia Black Gem. And for lots more tips and tricks on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, then please do subscribe to my channel, and also check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And thank you so much for your support and for watching, guys. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye, bye, bye.